Okay. So it started, you can go forward.
Excellent. Thank you for this brief introduction, Pedro, and for having us again for hosting this panel. And also good to see everybody in the room. And my name is Phillip Schnell, as Pedro has already said, and with me is my colleague Vera, and we're from the Austrian Academy of Sciences. And we're going to host the next two panels. And as every year, we're very happy to have this room to, have a place to share creative ideas and sorry?
No, you can. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, and to have a place to share creative ideas around the notion of urban spaces, the built environment, and perspectives from arts, design, and general cultural and urban studies. I want to say a couple of words about the topic at hand. If we look around at the world today, we see that because the topic of this conference, of course, is territory, we see a lot of conflicts and wars that are fought around the traditional notion of territory as a sphere of influence and power and demarcation of nation states. That it's really about, cultural hegemony, economic hegemony, resources, cultural identities, etc., etc., etc. So underlying these traditional understandings of territory, and we have, on the other hand, a lot of evolutions that challenge this notion. Yeah, because we notice this traditional idea has been around since the Middle Ages and since the establishment of the rule of law and nation states. And on the other hand, there are a couple of events and evolutions that are challenges this traditional order of things. And for example, digitalization and virtualization, virtual spaces are more and more overlaying the space of everyday life with new layers of meaning. And hence we're living in hybrid spaces of communication and community building that challenge this traditional territorial order. Also, the hyper-commodification and hyper-capitalism have overcome traditional regimes of political rulership. Also, they are entangled, but we have seen that the international space of capital and trade don't really respect borders, but they are really limitless nowadays. And then we have, of course, multi-level government bodies that have become so big that power has been moved very far away from people, actually, and it's very hard to follow the how to call it, the structures of decision making. But on the other hand, to counteract these a little bit dystopian evolutions at times, there are a lot of initiatives from a grassroots level and from civil society, also from the fields of art and science. There are new political movements and local communities that are rebuilding territories from the ground up. That means that a new understanding is emerging that is based on the space of everyday life and how citizens and multi-spatial species communities see the world around them. And these are often carried on or centered around the creative aspects of community building and of changing, transforming, and also counteracting traditional power structures. And these new territories are expected to be more malleable, more soft, and adaptable to the different needs of their constituents, yeah, even if they are human or otherwise. So we're looking into new schemes of territorialization that have to provide the ground for multi-species cohabitation and the integration of multiple cultures, multiple life forms, and multiple perspectives on life on this planet, while at the same time challenging existing systems of power. And today we're here to hear a couple of perspectives that show us where these evolutions could lead and how they could look like. And so I'm very excited to have you all here in Lisbon and online, and to have this great roster of presenters following up. Now I'm going to give the word to Vera, who's going to give a brief introduction about the topics, and she's also going to host the first panel. Thank you for having us.
Thank you, Phillip.
Thank you, Phillip, for this introduction. And yeah, my name is Vera. Hello all. I'm a socio-cultural anthropologist and an independent researcher at the moment. I want first of all to thank Pedro for the initiation of this conference and for the invitation to host these panels today. I want to dive right in. Yeah, we have two panels today highlighting the multi-layeredness of the territory theme, and our contributions today are spanning broadly from the urban as emotional territories in post-industrial Riga, Latvia, to a more governance level and environment approach in Algeria. We're going to hear from over to activist practices of territorialization to resist sexual assault in public spaces. And furthermore, we will dive into plotted plans as a micro-spatial interaction in the urban. We will hear about graffiti in Rome and also intervention and participation modes in Portugal. So yeah, again, this multi-spatial layeredness is very intriguing, I think, to me and I think to all of us. And yeah, we are looking forward. I would like to point out just one more administrative thing. I would kindly ask the contributors to really stick to your 20 minutes time slots. For that, to assist you in that, I've prepared some 5 and 1 minute signs.
Okay.
Yeah, to help you with that. I will do the timekeeping, and yeah, I kindly ask you to take just have a side eye on these visual reminders. Well, thank you. I would say
Yes.
the floor is yours, and our first speaker is Laura.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much. Laura, you can come. Yes. I will prepare here the presentation from Laura, and I will try to put the technology work for us. Oh, sorry. Okay. So you are this one? It's the first one? Or this? No, yeah.
Yeah, the first,
It's the first one.
definitely.
Okay, yeah. Sorry. And I will share in Zoom. Hopefully it will work. So Zoom here. Sorry. Okay.
It's fine.
But can I share this screen? Okay, it's there. Share this. And I will now put in your full screen. So it will work. Screen? Yeah. Oh. You don't want the notes or it's working. Okay, that's yours. And it's done. I will just turn the video here to you so they can have your presenters' face. Thank you.
Thank you. Hello, my name is Laura Prikule from Riga, Latvia. Independent researcher, artist, text author, and some other things in between. So today I'll be talking about claiming emotional territories in post-industrial Sarkandaugava. So urban places can be perceived as a game territory, and if there is a game, there is also a player. So in this project, which is kind of a long-term, ongoing project of researching post-industrial Sarkandaugava in many kind of ways, here I'm looking at the interventions in urban space through the lens of different emotions that arise and may be evoked by the things we see, or if we are interacting with the territory may serve as a playground where to express these emotions. So it's kind of twofold, input and output. So Sarkandaugava is a territory in the northern part of Riga. Latvia, it's near the harbor, so it's basically there are loads of industrial buildings, and then things are being shipped to the harbor and back, so it's kind of still industrial, although the industry is in a way finished, but still some things happen. And my structure for the presentation is kind of building bridges between emotions, well-being, game territories, space as such, and using Sarkandaugava as this playground. And there are many derelict buildings. Some of them are empty, others are used as artist studios, and a few still produce some things. They don't even reveal what it is, but for instance, diesel motors for ships, and then some railway parts and things like that. And here you can see it's on the map, the gray, lighter gray part is Sarkandaugava. And that's Riga. So first lens we will take is like Sarkandaugava as the industrial heritage territory. This is kind of the territory itself. From the building where my studio is, and the like the final is like at the very end is the harbor, and then this is one part of our research subject, and then this direction is some other parts of the territory.
Excuse me, Laura, for a second, just to interrupt you for a minute. We just see the first slide of your presentation at the moment. We don't see anything else online. I don't know why.
Oh,
but we just see the front cover. Maybe we.
I see.
Sorry,
Sorry,
that's
sorry
my
to
problem.
interrupt you. Sorry to interrupt you.
Oh, thanks for. I wasn't aware of that.
Don't worry. It's I just wanted to tell you. So
Yeah, it's my problem.
Now, I
Yeah,
mean, the first
everybody-
slide maybe expresses all the presentation, but still, it's good.
probably.
Details.
Yeah, no,
Maybe
no,
you
yeah.
go to 5.
Yes, maybe you can work from, you can see them now, right?
Yes.
I could quickly
Yes,
go
now it's
through
fine.
some
Perfect.
Sarkandaugava.
Excellent. No, no, that's very totally fine. You can just.
So this is
Yeah,
the
so-
territory, and here you can see it from above. And here there are a few more views. And yeah, this rooftop is the Riga diesel building. And that orange building there is the administrative part of the factory. It used to be, now it's kind of half empty. And there are some photo studios there. And yeah, so Riga diesel engine factory is part of the heritage, and it was built at the end of the Soviet era. It's kind of this futuristic past presence in Sarkandaugava, which always invites to interact with it, because it's like this terrace type of architecture. And yeah, some more. This is also the Riga diesel factory, and what used to be its former dining place. And other parts for industrial production, and now you can see how it's used nowadays for like recreational activity. So it's kind of claiming with play in different ways the industrial structure. And this is one more of the playground, industrial playground parts, Riga electrotechnical factory, which develops electric equipment for trains, subway cars, as well as solutions for urban electric transport already for, this is like the 3rd century. But it's just parts of it. And this is the main interest subject of my today's talk. It's Provodnik, which is also used to be part of the RER, and now it's like an empty, abandoned building with reclaimed by artist studios, but there still is no central heating in the winter, so it's kind of a rough territory, but at the same time it's like this enigmatic area, drawing people to interact with it, take photos, do graffiti, or simply for psychogeographic activities use the territory. And yeah, somehow it has this pulling force, so I wanted to also look at how and why it works. As such, although it kind of doesn't provide too much like kind of planned activity, it's mostly just improvisational, and time and again some pop-up events take place. And then there's also one more place I wanted to mention. It's like this huge Bolshevika building, which there have been many attempts to plan something for it, but even a contemporary art facility, but still nothing. Like, although it's owned by a bank, it looks like this currently. So it also is a huge area of opportunity. And so that's the geographic territory. One more thing that, which is kind of a key player in my looking at this territory, is emotions and feelings. And I have been looking at this structure recently, which is a wheel of emotions, which tries to see and juxtapose different emotions and make people aware of the feelings and emotions that might exist. And so I would like to make this bridge between unclaimed territories and the emotions people would like to express, aware or unaware of that. And it's interesting to me if these industrial territories can help to in this process, and if you can also read these emotions in the work that happens on the wall. So there are the basic kind of 6 emotions, like surprised, happy, fearful, bad, angry, disgusted. And then you can go into smaller detail. And in the previous scheme, like the middle circle is important: disgust, anger, anticipation, joy, which can be tuned down to serenity, optimism, interest, or hyped up to rage, admiration, terror, like really strong emotions that usually manifest in the street. So here are the 8. So there are different ways to group them. I'm simply interested in ways how you can use them in perception of the things you see around. And so here's one definition, that the feeling wheel aids people to communicate about their feelings and helps them to identify, express, and even change these feelings. And yeah, this could be an illustration of feelings. So many works in the streets serve as an entrance point for the workings of the human psyche and to express and evoke, as I said. And then another important milestone is well-being, the thing that motivates us to express things in the streets. Sometimes either we want to reach a certain state of emotional well-being or show a state that contradicts this sense of well-being by the opposite. So basically, I would say the works you may see further, they activate this sense of well-being and in a way also play with it, in a way express it, dramatize it, all kinds of emotions. As you saw, there is a big wheel, 72 or more even. And graffiti can also be perceived as a game and play. So that's another important part of my scheme. And interacting with the city and architecture, you can do it in a playful way. It can also turn into vandalism, but it can also be a really sensitive interaction where you use larger areas to express subtle feelings and help people read them afterwards. And as all games, there are certain rules to follow, and part of this game is also to break the rules. And one more important thing in the outside territories is space and the area in between, the empty place, the specific location. Space is a dimension and also a certain vibe, a certain feeling. You enter already moving into this space before you decide to interact either with a camera or with graffiti or any other means of interaction. You might already sense what this space is about. So talking about Provodnik, it's a semi-abandoned industrial park and a creative hub, a place for diverse businesses, place famous for a legal graffiti wall, and even a place for guided tours. And this is the entry point to the territory. It's like this road along the wall of a rare building. And this part is not the legal part, this is the illegal part, but still it has been claimed and creating a border between the natural parts of Sarkandaugava and the industrial parts of Sarkandaugava, which is Provodnik. And depending on the part of the day, it also is affected by different light, different feeling at night. Moving along this space is different than in daytime, and you notice different things in different days. So again, this border between natural and sort of man-made forces that interact. And here you can see also different linguistic expressions of emotions. So the first image from the right, it even has the writing. writing it simply states emotions, then the next is it means joy in Latvian, that you are supposed to think about joy. And the third one is already this party mode. So you can slowly activate this joyful party feeling. And the question is if the text can do that or you need anything else for this. So the images along this wall also evoke other types of feelings. Some are also fear and also the unpleasant emotions. So it's a roller coaster that is provided as an entry wall into the territory. Yes, and here you can see also the water, the canal surrounding, which is also not so pleasant territory around because it's completely polluted by the industrial heritage, and there have been attempts to clean it, but it still needs help. And this is already the threshold of the territory of Provodnik, which is covered by graffiti. And this is the official mural territory, which keeps changing quite often. Again, the natural and the artistic interventions mix together in this urban territory. And it's interesting that the territory itself provokes a range of emotions, and also the works express it. And here you can see part of the building with the intervention on a wall. And here you see how small businesses interact with the territory. This is a decoration business, which blends in. And this is part also of Provodnik. When the sun is shining, it is even possible to live here, is an optimistic text describing it. And some pleasure of interacting with the space through graffiti is manifested on a wall here. And here I wanted to draw your attention also to other ways how to use industrial territories, and here there are beehives. That's another, although it's a business, it also reminds of artistic intervention. So it's something in between in this unclaimed territorial area that creates this really strange ambience for intervention. And then I wanted to show this slide, which is kind of traces from a workshop I did in the territory together with a friend in a poetic robotism project. And it is, so the first layer of this diagram is different emotions mapped by school children from Valmieras Viestura Gymnasium school. And so it's one of them is confidence, love, and somebody mapped a cloud, and some of people created a cat island, which brings them this emotion of joy and happiness, which these living beings may bring in people's lives. And so this map was laid out in one of the industrial buildings of Sarkandaugava, and then I organized a photo walk, which went to research these island emotions and a few other which were selected by chance in the Provodnik territory, and the results were interesting because some of the people had trouble to interact with the territory actually physically, and they wanted to be just observing, while other people really felt like at home and they wanted to take in as much as possible. And although the photo walk helped to include, I'm finishing, other parts of the territory, the main interest point still remained this Provodnik. So I'm still hoping to find how to bridge the emotions and the territories, but altogether it feels like an interesting research topic to me. So I'm on the way to get more information out of it.
Okay,
If you want to give us a brief conclusion, or you're welcome, Laura.
But if that's
Yeah, that was a question.
No,
Yeah, well, maybe in one sentence that if we look at the industrial territories as a place for idea playgrounds and emotional playgrounds, we can get a certain distanced focus to be able to analyze it better and apply other theories than we are used to applying in the straightforward research, to bring in the larger field of research to maybe find new things that we are not aware of yet. So I would recommend moving deeper in this direction, and that's my plan as well.
Well, thank you so much, Laura. It was very intriguing, and yeah, I already have some questions waiting for later.
Okay, thanks for listening, and I give the floor to the next speaker.
Our next speaker is Norhene, and we will move to a more governance level. Norhene, the floor is yours. Welcome.
Thank you.
I think you can share the screen from your side. Or you...
Laura have to delete her PPT. Thank you.
Do you... in terms of video, we are not seeing your video. It's but can you share the screen from your side?
Yes. 1 minute, please.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, it's working now. Something?
Yes.
Yes.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Norhene Chouite. Today I represent my work titled Ali Mendjeli Delegated Wilaya, Governance Challenges and Environmental Perspective. I start with an introduction. Ali Mendjeli, university born out of a policy aimed at structuring urbanization, decommissioning the city of Constantine, Algeria, was accelerated by several factors, namely the proliferation of slums, landslides, the scarcity of developable land, and intensive demand for housing. This urban center, which has more than 415,000 inhabitants, is the basis of a new urban center where the implementation of structuring projects such as university facilities, the tramway and its ongoing and future extensions, commercial facilities, business zone, the military hospital, and the real state park are tangible elements showing willingness to create its autonomy and its own identity. Today, after a quarter of a century and 3 decades of existence as an inhabited city since its effective launch, this new city has benefited from an evaluative half, an administrative division, and even a legal state, thus promoted to the rank of administrative district led by a delegated wali. According to the presidential decree establishing administrative districts in large cities and new cities, our communication stems from a new presidential decision, a current topic whose objective is to analyze the situation and organization of this new city that is becoming an administrative district or a delegated wilaya, comprising the perimeter of Ali Mendjeli and the commune of Ain Smara, which in turn has been classified as a daira. However, the development of a new spatial functional nomenclature in terms of public health, transportation, housing, and urban planning, educating, training, security, social actions, as well as the execution of laws and regulations in force is not an easy task and raises many questions. Thus, through hypothetical and educative approach and a hybrid approach between two entities, one without and the other with legal states, we will attempt to lay bare the interdependencies of strategies of actors and the development of public service to provide them with financial, human, and materials resources. Moreover, the way to mobilize this district share for conducting actions thus and aim at dynamic and prospective impact measures. Related works, situation, presentation, and memory. Ali Mendjeli is a new city born from a proactive urban planning policy aimed at easing congestion in Constantine in Algeria. Its rapid growth is due to high housing demand, lack of buildable land, the spread of informal settlements, and nature risks like landslides designed to absorb Constantine's population overflow. The city also aims to create a better spatial and demographic balance in the region. Now, home to over 450,000 residents, Ali Mendjeli has become a strategic urban hub, featuring key projects such as universities, industrial zones, a tramway extension, a military hospital, commercial areas, and housing development. However, it has also faced urban planning shortcomings, which have led to social unrest and urban violence, despite hopes for improvement expressed by figures like Mark Cote. Following presidential decree, Ali Mendjeli was officially granted two states of delegated province delegates prefect reporting the Constantine provincial governor now oversaw the area, including the manipulation of Ain Smara. This role comes with full administrative authority over security, investment, and development. In 2023, Ain Smara was elevated to a district, and Ali Mendjeli was incorporated into this new administrative unit, relieving pressure on the former Al Khroub district. This marks the formal recognition of Ali Mendjeli transformation from a peripheral suburb into a city larger and more populous than the municipality it was dependent on. Figure 1 shows new city in 2080. Figure 2 shows the local of the city Ali Mendjeli. Challenges and priorities, a presidential decree grants Ali Mendjeli an administrative structure equivalent to that of province, including commissions, committees, and local advisory council governed by the same rules. Ministerial departments will be represented either at the administrative district level or, if needed, at the provincial level. The delegated wali will lead the district, supported by a general secretariat, various delegated departments, and decentralized state service for maintaining a local council. This new state aims to correct the previous administrative neglect that contributed to the city's dysfunctions and the negative impact on residents. A top priority is conducting a new population census to accelerate access to community needs and improve service. The ultimate goal is to support Ali Mendjeli evolution from a dependent suburb into a mature, autonomous urban center. The final question raised is symbolic. Was Ali Mendjeli born a new city or did become one over time? This reflects its complex path toward full urban identity and autonomy. The tasks of delegated managers, the deputy wali of an administrative district is tasked with coordinating, supervising, and guiding the activities of local municipalities and state service. They lead efforts to improve public service and infrastructure and have the authority to act multiple areas and existing laws and regulations, including investment, public assets, civil states, and regulated activities. They are also responsible for enforcing laws and government decisions within the district, ensuring alignment with the Wilaya Council and local deliberation. The deputy wali works closely with security forces to maintain public order, safety, cleanliness, and peace, and advise the provincial wali on necessary security measures. Their responsibilities span key development sectors such as agriculture and rural development, water and environment management, public works and transport, housing and urban planning, education, health, social action, youth, sport, tourism and crafts, employment, commerce, industry, and energy and industrial safety. This wide scope of authority ensures comprehensive local governance and service delivery within the administrative district. In December 2018, a presidential decree established 40 new administrative districts in key provinces such as Algiers, Blida, Constantine, and Oran, targeting rapidly growing urban areas like Ali Mendjeli, Sidi Abdallah, and Daraish. In Constantine, the cities of Khroub, Zirodous, Hamabouzian, and Constantine proper were reclassified into territorial complement administrative districts. The purpose of this reform is to improve territorial governance and administrative efficiency, manage urban demographic growth, decentralize power by giving delegated governance more autonomy. This district will be provided with financial and administrative resources to support local economic growth and enhance service for population. Sorry. This figure shows neighborhood unit diagram. Results. The new city is seen from a different perspective. 45 years later, the new city of Ali Mendjeli is criticized by architects who were not involved in its design. However, the criticisms seem to stem more from a sense of frustration rather than a rational basis. Let's be straightforward. This new city may have its flaws, imperfection, and mistakes, but no one can deny its high vitality and dynamic essence. The new city has reached a quarter of a century, making a significant milestone in this development. This new state reflects the maturity, importance, and greatness achieved by this new city. Expert and resident testimonies highlight an inherent unity that has become evident over the years. The establishment of this administrative district was aimed at ensuring greater synergy in territorial management to better address citizens' concerns through development programs. This figure shows development of the new city in 2018. Figure 5 shows extension of south and west. Figure 6 shows an image from Google Earth Engine. Figure 7 shows the initial surface area and actually surface area. Ecological and environmental challenges. The transformation of Ali Mendjeli into an administrative district also raised significant environmental challenges. The rapid urbanization of this new city has led to the reduction of natural spaces, the overuse of agricultural land, and increased pressure on water resources. In light of this reality, the new administrative states present an opportunity to integrate an ecological approach into territorial management. This could involve preserving or creating green spaces, improving waste management, promoting public transportation and soft mobility, as well as implement locally policy to combat pollution and adapt to climate change. By adopting a sustainable vision, Ali Mendjeli could become a model city that respects its environment, successfully balancing urban development with ecological equilibrium. Finally, in conclusion, conducting a census of the population, identifying them and understanding their needs in order to better serve them and support their inhabitants. The challenges are enormous, and the responsible must be commensurate with the strong personality of this city, which is not longer new and is assessing itself and adult independent. The delegated Wali initiates, monitors, oversees, and conducts action to upgrade public facilities at the level of administrative district. This new state will apply to this new city, which was not initially endowed with Wilaya headquarters, knowing that the security headquarters has been renoved to house the delegated Wilaya. 25 years late, the new city of Ali Mendjeli continues to raise various questions regarding its evaluation as a model of the Algerian new city as well as its new state. And thank you for your attention.
Okay, thank you, Norhene.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you for
And,
your.
it's really good to have perspectives from different geographies, and we understood your effort in some English words and so on. But I hope that you were comfortable in the end. So for the questions, we will be doing in the end of the panel. So please stay around. That we will. Sorry, this is your work, Vera. Sorry.
Oh no, go ahead, Pedro. No worries. Yeah, we will have a Q&A after the upcoming presentation, after the third one, which will be by Jonna on the ever-prevalent topic of sexual assault in public space. Jonna, I hope I pronounce your name right. Then the floor is yours.
Yes.
This, or do we need it because I have pictures, so this is blocking the...
Norhene, I think you have to like stop sharing your screen.
Yeah. Just because the idea is to share the content of the PDF, but I think, but yes, but yeah, I can reduce it to nothing. I think hopefully. Here, share. Then we go to the PDF. I think we can put it like this, and I can put full screen, I think. So something here. Full screen here. I think this is the only element.
Yes. Hello, everyone. My name is Jonna Tolonen, and I come from Finland. I'm a postdoctoral researcher at the University of Lapland at the moment. I was here last time, 2017. It's been a long time. I was just had finished my PhD about the graffiti that was communicating about the 15M movement in Madrid. So it's been a long time, but I've been in a very privileged situation to continue as a researcher until now. So it's always good to have a continuation of your work. And like Pedro said earlier, the more you research, the more you get interested in different topics. So, for example, I've been researching gentrification and urban space, and now today I'm talking about street art against sexual assault. And of course, this is also a good chance to thank Pedro for keeping this alive this long, because I think it's very, very important that researchers and people from different stages in their career can meet and share thoughts. And I still have lots of people I'm connected from that 2017, and I hope that today and following days I will get new connections. Yes. Okay. So a little bit about my background. I'm a researcher artist that works mainly with ethnographical and action research-based practices. And I'm always been over the last, let's say, 5 years interested about embodiment and different kinds of environments that surround us, especially in the city space. And I would also like to at least think of myself that I have a relational approach to graffiti and street art, because I think that they cannot be understood without the reference to the relationship with other elements in the world around them. And it includes also the researcher. So I think that I myself has to be immersive in the research at the scene, at the culture, and also about, for example, the visuals that I'm studying of. It's not moving now. For what reason?
Screen. Because you clicked on Zoom.
Oh, okay, great. Yes, just here.
It's working. Great.
Okay, yes. I also like to refine myself as a feminist ethnographer because I'm always interested about the power in social interaction that starts from the gender analysis and produces feminist knowledge. And I've been doing about 15 years. I've been using walking methodology, mainly in Spain, all around Spain, but also in Athens, Greece. At the moment, I'm working in a project called Art, Activism and Gendered Violence. And at the moment, I'm also working on a book called Methodologies for Graffiti and Street Art Research with my colleague Mari Myllylä, and it will be published in autumn 2026 with Routledge. So if you're interested in methodologies, please keep in mind this book also. Okay, so let's get to the main point of my my talk today. I think that public space represents cities' ability to enhance the quality of urban life, which includes access and free use for all citizens, also free from spatial exclusion or fear. However, as we know, various studies have shown that sexual assault is on the streets very deep and systematic. Sexual assault here in my presentation is defined as unwanted sexual contact and can include anything from verbal suggestion to groping to rape, and its impacts ranges from immediate to long-term multiple physical, sexual and mental consequences. Also, although women and other minorities are freer to move in public space than a few decades ago, they are still very aware that they are not allowed to do the same things than men are, as the street continues to be, in so many ways, to be a place for males. This presentation explores the ability of street art against sexual assault to territorialize public space. It is based on a fieldwork in Spain and Greece between 2014 to 2022 in the neighborhoods that are known for their activist communities. I will be using my photographs and interviews I have made with artists and activists to analyze pieces that are linked to a broader social context. The occupation of walls and bodily presence in the public space are understood here as practices of territorialization and communication that intends to resist the sexual assault. Activist strategy is to transform the city space into a safer and more welcoming place for women and other minorities to move around the city and enjoy the city life. In Spain, the wall writings and posters, street art, have a long history as a means of communication as a part of different kinds of social changes. Street art and its various forms, from stickers to posters to large murals, have been used to express ideas, arguments, opinions, particularly during the periods of different kinds of political upheaval, such as Franco's dictatorship and the transition to the democracy. It is therefore not surprising that Spaniards have a long history of utilizing public space through wall writings and street art, and some of them have been recorded since the early 1900s. Here we have a sticker example from the 1990s, a sticker against sexual assault distributed to the streets by anarcho-syndicalist group Juventudes Libertarias. The picture is courtesy of Foundation Anselmo Lorenzo, where I was permitted to visit their excellent sticker and poster archives last year. The global economic crisis and the austerity measures that followed have had a widespread impact on women around the world. The Spanish economic crisis was not favorable to Spanish women either. Money and resources were cut from the preventive work of gender-based violence, and several bills to improve women's rights was left unaddressed. Women around the world protested and the impact of austerity measures in variety of creative and artistic ways. In Spain, women responded by protesting in the street against government cuts, calling for improved political and social conditions, gender equality, and the prevention of physical and mental violence. One way of doing this, alongside with marches and strikes, is street art, which became an important tool in fight against gender-based violence. The years of economic crisis were perhaps the most active years of all street art forms, both in Spain and Greece. One reason was that people were disappointed and angry and started to express themselves in the streets. Another, of course, was that there wasn't any money to clean the walls and pieces had a lot of view time. The difference, for example, in Lavapiés Madrid that I've researched a lot is huge when I think the years from 2012 to 2009 and what it's now. The COVID, the new major from the Conservative Party ruling, and the centralization, the idea of being touristic friendly, have whitened the walls in the area. I remember spending around 2 to 3 hours walking just one long street in Lavapiés back in the 2014 and 2018, and last year it took me about 20 minutes. It tells a lot about how wide the walls are now. These kind of messages, like in this slide and the slide before, over a gang and fighting women, are important markers of the territorialization. They are communicating to others that we are here and we are on your side, and perhaps giving the impression that the street is a bit safer place to wander around in this place. This was exactly what Spanish activist and artist Sara Patuegas intended to do with her poster series in Lavapiés area, Madrid. The pieces resist sexual assault. It tends to reframe the issue, communicate the discontent, and produce competing discourses in the street. This is what she says. I really wanted to place my posters in the streets because most of the cases of sexual harassment, assaults, and violations happen in the streets. There, the works are also accessible to everyone, regardless of their age or their social status. I was hoping that people who would see these posters wouldn't feel indifferent, would question things, and would be touched by them, and that they would feel uncomfortable with all those women in the posters being groped, looking straight back at them. Let's put them for a moment in somebody else's shoes to feel what women feel. Most of the posters didn't last more than 24 hours. They were ripped off or covered by advertising posters. I didn't expect this, and I was disappointed and angry. I didn't understand why people got upset about us claiming our freedom and criticizing them for violating us. At the same time as different activists are making themselves more visible online, some of them are also providing spaces for dialogue and engagement in the public sphere. Patuegas' work and her narrative of the poster-making process can be interpreted as an engagement and territorialization. A group of women unknown to each other posed, photographed, printed, paid for it, and posted posters around the street art of Madrid with the intention of communicating with the public. The debate about street art has shifted from the purely aesthetic approach to approaches that interpret it as a social and political protest and a means of communication. Street art is often understood from a grassroots perspective and a tool that provides socio-political expression to the issues that often remain invisible in the media and need more attention in the society. The following works are analyzed here as seen as tools for territorialization. The text here says, if somebody doesn't understand Spanish, we are fed up with the street harassment. We have run out of patience. The street is ours. Be careful, macho men. Women have been and often continue to be framed homogeneously as a weak and passive group, and women are seen particularly vulnerable when they are walking alone on the streets. The street is still one of the most common sites of sexual abuse. For example, in Spain, 71% of women experience street harassment for the first time when they are still minors, between the ages of 11 and 17. In the following pieces, here are shown aim to tell the anti-hegemonic stories. The discourses, both visual and textual, in these works balance between security and intimidation. This first one, series of posters, illustrate a little girl with fierce eyes, lips and fists tightly clenched, giving the impression that she has had enough of being harassed on the street. According to this discourse, women are active because they take over physical space through direct action. Women reclaim street space from men by putting up posters on the streets and demonstrating that the street is ours. The portrait of a young girl and the text, "Our patience has run out," highlight the exposure to macho men's street harassment throughout the history and underline the attitude of the younger generation. In this image, rapists do not walk along the street at night has 3 figures painted in pink, presumably females. Each figure is holding a baseball bat and the middle figure is sitting in a wheelchair. The figure on the right is wearing bikinis. The women here are presented more diverse than in the previous image. Women with all kinds of physical attributes suffer from gender-based violence, on the other hand, and by the other, they are welcomed into the fight. From an intersectional perspective, the discourse emphasizes that violence against women is not a uniform phenomenon, as women with disabilities are more likely to suffer from it. The discourse reifies the dichotomy of female victims and male perpetrators. Nonetheless, solidarity is clearly framed by visualizing 3 women together defending the security on the street with a baseball bat that is generally seen as an urban weapon for men. This approach also sees the customary protective role from men to women. Similar discourse can be found in this stencil photographed in Athens. The approach of these 2 works shifts the conventional role of protection from men to women. It also emphasizes group support and invites each woman to take care and protect other women. In Madrid's Lagoa district, where Patueka's poster series was spread, there are several women's rights and feminist groups. It is therefore not surprising to come across street art in this neighborhood with a tone of which is more controversial than the ones I have presented here before. In the picture, the woman has a machete in her hand. The text, "Machete to macho men," is deliberately provocative and attract attention of as many passers-by as possible. The most common interpretation of this work might be that it's intended to encourage women to use violence against macho men. However, the activist artist who created this work has stated that its purpose is not to promote violence against men or to increase unnecessary violence by any kind, but to encourage women to defend themselves. This view is based on the feminist ideas back into the 1970s, which aimed to make women aware, to develop women's mental and physical self-defense skills, and in particular to start a debate on the gender-based violence. The core idea here is therefore not the intention to kill any human being, but to expose and kill the macho culture that exists in our society and in our world. The discourse frames women as aggressive in a different way than the image from the pink women who are illustrated more relaxed. Depending on how the passerby reads this, it can lead to a woman being seen either as acting like a man or recognizing the diversity within gender theorization that extends beyond the binary approach. We want to stay alive. The text says here, Virginia F., 33 years old, city of Orange. Patueka's poster series was based on the staged photographs of anonymous women who volunteered for the project. Another street campaign organized by the Asamblea Feminista Panteras, Feminist Assembly of Panthers, wrote the names of the real victims on the walls. In the campaign, dozens of names of victims were written all over in several Spanish cities. Every piece of the writings on the wall included the name, the age, city, and the date of the death of women killed by their current or former partners or spouses. The slogan of the campaign, "We want to stay alive," refers to the historical struggles associated with the disappeared people during the Argentinian dictatorship and feminist organizations' fight against trafficking. As a consequence, this campaign exceeds the mere visual register to become a political slogan and a memorial space. The street artworks presented here are examples how street art is used to exploit public space by drawing attention to gender-based violence. The stencils are often shared online and printed, and activists are using them around the world, as illustrated in here with two examples, one collected from Madrid in 2014 and the other from Athens 2019. Women are utilizing the public space without permission to give the voice to the issue they consider important. Me Too, No Means No, and La Mada campaign have all contributed to the street art. In 2023, over 240,000 sexual violence offenses were registered in Europe, showing 5.5% increase, including 7% increase in rape compared to the year before. In response to these atrocities, activists and feminist groups will undoubtedly continue exploiting public space with street art pieces that draw attention to gender-based violence and can raise awareness of suffering and ill treatment. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much, Jonna. Very, very deep dive into these issues. We would like to open the floor now for a question and answer session. Is there any?
Maybe you don't need to leave. 10 questions. 10 minutes. I will give some microphones here to the front. But maybe you both can go here. No. Presenters. And I will just adjust here the screen. Okay. And it's yeah. So we have here the three online and so you can go. Yeah. Yes. So I'm Jonna.
Through graphically and those details and the authors, etc., are on the human deliveries we see. Okay. So what worries me, besides other issues, is this kind of relation between the writer and the viewer. And we can see if street art in several ways. We can see it, we can look at, we can gaze, and we can as well stare, be staring. Okay, these are English words that show some ways of seeing. And then when you talk about very much on these images, because they are not just about a sexual assault, but in some kind of a sort of staring assault. So my question is, define this relationship between the writer and the viewer as a citizen, etc. As a relation that puts in work these certain kinds of viewing, and mainly staring off, because the male is staring to the women. It's a very aggressive way of seeing. So
I'm not quite sure that was the question.
is often that when we see body parts, how can we establish this relationship between the aggression that is conveyed by someone? Because I see there is some resistance. That's what we mentioned. Different kinds of resistance, women resistance against these aggressions that can be sexual, but they are conveyed and transmitted via through study art. So it's very helpful study art, and how can we that this kind of aggression here to a visual image. Okay.
I'm still not sure if I answered the question.
You really showing that indicated that with physics that it's showing if you address one of us, we will respond.
Yes.
We do what of showing relationship in the question. It can be distinguished with the style of ways, pictorial ways, imaging ways of the web.
Okay. I found like that it's actually like having other women to be aggressive towards other people. This that the difference is really is about the person who is in it. Yes. Yeah, of course. And for me as a researcher, I think just what I see is connected to everything I've read and experienced and so on. And of course, because my interest lies of seeing these kinds of things. And I can imagine that 90% of people who walk by these pictures I've shown, they don't even look at it. Most of them men don't even see it. So it's more about taking for the getting the attention from a women like, for example, like me. They're telling me that okay, these women are here, these activists are working in this area, it's very important messages for me, but also for women maybe walking and they are seeing those messages and they thinking, would somebody at least talking about this issue, and they might do some possibly really good. This is what I do. For example, we want us to stay alive in Algeria. When I was photographing the picture, the old lady came back and he was like, "Oh, I worried." I was thinking that she was he was in my picture, and then he stopped and then he said, "What do you saw the picture?" And I said that I was in the picture because the woman was died and so on. And then the woman stopped and she just said, like she really was emotional. Yeah, but it always like for me, this presentation was more about my own interpretations and what I would think that people might be interested of. Basically, my reading of the picture. It would be very different from yours, actually.
Okay, someone else here or on? Great. If not, we can. Yeah.
I have a question to Laura. I wondered about the workshops we saw in some of your last slides. So I wondered, are you using this space there permanently for workshops? Is this more like a youth work thing or a research workshop? Can you tell us a bit more about it?
Well, I have like this spring that have been like I think a series of workshops, but not all of them in one place. Collaborating with different organizations, but using the American field as the kind of unifying platform for all of them. So in different ways, seeing how people formulate the emotional attitudes using the objects provided in the workshops, and also comparing the responses that were obtained in different working environments. So the one I showed was the image from providing the purpose for the photo walk audience. Like there were 25 people afterwards going to the Provodnik territory. So, and it's interesting that people also need to formulate sentences with their emotions, and they come up with different levels of response. Some are quite poetic, some are quite open about different emotional histories. So it's and in one of those workshops it was also like asking people to formulate using the emotions as part of a linguistic message. What would they like to appear in public space? And then now I have like a list of written ideas, and then I compare them to the actual things I meet in the public space. If it's the same or something else that they would like to appear.
Okay.
Thank you.
And one more remark that here in Lisbon, I also want to conduct a little workshop during this conference using the emotions and walk as a mechanism, and it will happen tomorrow.
Yes, tomorrow between the venue and the dinner place in Graça, there will be like a walk that Laura will talk better, and we'll try to organize a group. So online it's difficult to participate on this walk, but maybe next time, or you have also here the contact of Laura to go deeper on her work, ongoing work, right?
Step by step experiment, both from practical research and theoretical and collaborating.
Okay, so I don't know if there are not many more questions here and online. We can do a short break, like 5 minutes to take a coffee, some water and stuff, and we start the second panel. Are you okay with that also, Phillip and Vera? Yes? Okay, so 5 minutes and we will be back at 11:40 here in Lisbon. And your local time more 5 minutes, okay? So see you soon. Okay, 5 minutes,
Perfect.
very brief.
you.
Thank you.
Noch schnell was essen.
Hello,
Hi there.
sorry.
All good.
Yes, so we will restart the second with the second panel. I think Yoon is here. And
yes, I'm here.
yes, and Dileta also. But and Pedro is here on the auditorium. So
Yes.
So Philip, I don't know if you want to say some words before we start. And
Yes.
the floor is yours. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you for all the presenters for joining and for preparing their inputs. I want to briefly introduce Yoon. She will talk about soft territories and potted plants as an aesthetic intervention in urban space. And she actually studies doing her PhD in drawing at the Lisbon Faculty of Fine Arts. So you're a local player, but due to her international work, artwork, she's currently in Florence, I think. Yeah. And yeah, we're very happy to have you here. And please, the floor is yours. You can go ahead with the presentation. Thanks for coming. Thanks for joining us.
Okay, thank you. And now I share my screen. Okay. Sorry. Yeah. Sorry. Okay, can you hear my screen?
Yes, we can see it and we can hear you well.
Okay, okay, thank you. Okay. A moment. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for being here. Today, I'd like to show you my research.
Let me just Yun, let
Yeah.
me just say that the screen, your screen, it's not full screen, but I think there's yeah, it's a problem in my side. Don't worry, it works like that.
So yeah, if I can.
It's okay. It's okay.
It's okay.
Yes. Yeah. I think we can see like that. Yes, we are.
Okay, sorry.
Okay.
First of all, I'd like to briefly to introduce my research. Okay, the next. Sorry. This study looks at how cities are made through small acts and objects like potted plants. So I'm especially interested in how potted plants interact with urban space and become part of this structure. Because potted plants often appear in tiny or in between spaces, on sidewalks, by doorsteps, or between buildings. So they are usually seen as decoration, but I see them as something more like they spare space, show care, and even mark territory. So in this way, potted plants become quite but powerful tools. They express identity, culture, and sometimes even resistance, like in immigrants or community gardens. So let's start. As Vera, I don't know if this pronunciation is correct, said, a space is not a thing, but a set of relationship between things. So it means that space is always changing, shaped by people, objects, plants, and their interactions.
Yun, sorry, we are still in the first slide. I don't know if it's like that.
Oh, sorry. Maybe here the okay. I try another time.
Yes. Now.
Yeah.
Now we are.
Excellent.
Okay.
You can present like that if you want.
Oh, okay. And now is another page, right? The next.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah. Because as Laura Ogden posed it, if we don't start thinking more carefully about nature's role in society, we'll never find out how to actually build a sustainable future. And like Bennett's work really flips the script. Most people assume only humans make choices or have really impact, but she's like plants, trees, even random objects are constantly shaping the world around us. So city greenery isn't just a decoration, it's a key player in how urban life plays out. So, and here there's some, another idea of space. There are three parts. First, special practice, what people do every day in space, like walking, planting, or using streets. And second, representations of space to official part maps, planning or rules. And the third, representational spaces, like how people feel or emerge space, emotions or memories or art. I think like potted plants actually touched all three. They are part of daily life. They respond to city rules and they carry meanings. Next. Okay, this one. Because now I'd like to show you 3 ways to think about territory and plants. First, from biology, plants fight for like sunlight and space. And second, from society, plants show borders and human control. And the third, I think it's most important in my research because plants are active agents. They help shape space or just decorate it. And maybe the letters are a bit small because these letters from Edward Soja. He says justice isn't just about laws, it's about how space is organized and who gets access to it. So even planting something small can be part of special justice. Soja also say urbanization affects everything, not just the cities. So when we think about the justice, we must look like at urban, rural, or in between everywhere. He emphasizes that geography matters in struggles for justice. And now I'd like to show you some artists. Here is a work by Lois Wimberger called Portable Garden. This piece has been shown many times since 1994. It's very simple, a flower container with poor soil. It can be moved, forgotten, and yet is full of meaning. In the context of urban space, this portable garden becomes a quiet but radical gesture. It challenges fixed idea of land ownership and permanence. Instead of climbing the territory with fantasy or buildings, it does so softly with soil, plants, and care. This work reflects what I'm exploring in my own project, how small, mobile, even fragile plantings can intervene in urban life. Because silently creating zones of resistance, identity, and coexistence. So this work, in 24, he filled the immigrant bags with wild plants, like this one. It's about migration, being on the margins, and identity. These plants owned from the center, but from the edges, like the communities they represent. this work. And now I'd like to show you another artist. The name is Fidencio Fifield Parts. This work is called The Garden. The first glance, we just see a moving truck filled with potted plants, like this one here. But there are so many more there. Like these plants are not just the decoration. Each one, okay, here. Each one carry a memory of home, of migration, of love, of paperwork, every fair. So together they form a kind of soft, mobile territory, a garden that moves with the artist across borders. So artist uses plants to speak about identity, about the everyday struggles of undocumented people in America. This is a garden of care and survive, but also of resistance. It shows how even a few potted plants can quietly climb space and tell stories without shouting, without words. So that's a kind of gentle agency. I'm also interested in where plants become territory markers in fragile, like human ways. And here is another work from Fifield Parrots. Okay, here. This series is document 124 by him, where he uses everyday mirroring envelopes to drawing or to paint variety types of plants, of potted plants. These plants carry metaphors of identity, memory, and migration. They are slipped or relocated, yet carefully tended. In this way, the plants act as gentle but firm territorial markers, symbolizing the possibility of creating a sense of home in conditions of movement and marginality. So through small in scale, these works speak powerfully about boundaries, belonging, and cultural connection. Here there are two works from him. And then another artist, his name is Phillip. He is a street gardener from Los Angeles, known as the, like here, gangster gardener. Since 22, he's been planting food in tiny, forgotten corners in the city. At first, it was illegal, but he found back, and then the law changed. His gardens are small, soft acts of protect. They bring life into the city's gray zones. As he says, like gardens is the most, and the last sentence, you get strawberries. So it's very interesting, this sentence. And here there's two photos show Phillip's everyday work with the community. He turns abandoned spaces into lively urban green oases with plants. Okay, and here is my pen. Okay, it's my digital painting. And it's a recent digital painting I created. In this work, the potted plant functions as a micro territory marker arranged alongside culture significant vessels and decorated motifs. Each plant becomes a quiet sign of belonging, culture memory, and everyday resistance in the shifting landscape of urban life. This piece continues my exploration of soft territories, how even a single potted plant can gentle climb space, not with boundaries or permanence, but with care, presence, and repetition. It reflects a kind of soft architecture, reformer, and personal, where space is shaped not through words but through acts of tending and placing. So together, the plants and pots evoke a layered sphere language of migration and more than human coexistence and marker territory in ways that are flexible, cooperative, and full of meaning. And this one. Now I'd like to share a project based on this idea of soft territories. This is a specific series called Urban Forest, created in 4 different cities. Each piece is responded to its own space, culture, and urban structure, creating a unique dialogue with the space. This project focuses on boundary dynamics between plants and humans in urban spaces, especially how plants assert their own territories in soft ways. Through my personal perspective, I created in special tensions and even potential conflicts that emerge in their relationships. So this first the urban forest installations was created in 2022, and now it's how can we can say this work in Florence, and exhibited in the historic center of Florence next to the Palazzo Vecchio. This work shows plants growing outward from a confined sculpture, symbolizing how plants gentle and deliberately interview in urban space. So this project was later extended to survivor cities, creating always dialogues with with each urban contest. And this one is the second between 2023 and 2024. This project was exhibited at Art Block, an urban art district in Tianjin, China. This location lies between a dense residential area and a commercial tourist zone, a complex space within the city. And this one is the third urban forest. In April 2024, a series of work returned to Florence, and this time presented in Piazza San Firenze, right in the heart of the city. And this one is was exhibited in Nova Gorica, Slovenia this year, as part of the 20th Biennale of Young Artists from Europe and the Mediterranean. I believe it's no coincidence that this project has been supported by urban institutions and art organizations across different countries and cultures. The work goes beyond the plans themselves. It explores how urban plans softly interview in place, quietly establishing their own forms of territory. This kind of gentle special practice opens up boundary questions about coexistence between humans and non-humans, and how space control and connection and sustainability. Now I'd like to show this animation. I don't know, I'm not sure if we can hear the sound.
Let's see. We are really on time, but let's see.
Okay. Now, can you see the cream short stories? This cream.
Yes.
Okay. Can you hear the sound?
Yes.
We can hear the sound, but not video.
The video is not working somehow.
So the screen is stopped.
Yes. Maybe you can share the link and we place on the program. And yes, and
can I share later, because now I didn't post the link here, so okay, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Sorry, Pedro, you go ahead. Yeah.
This one is the last. Okay. Sorry, the last page.
Okay, so you have concluded. Yes, Jan.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you for your attention.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank
you very much, Jon, for this interesting presentation and for sharing your insights and also your work. I'm sorry for the video, but maybe you can really share it with Pedro, and we will put it on the program. Okay?
Yeah.
Or you can put on the comments here.
Or you can put it in the comment section, a YouTube link or something.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you very much for this interesting presentation. We will ask questions later. So now the floor goes to Delegated. She's from the University of L'Aquila in Italy. And she's talking about, hi there, thanks for coming. Thanks for
Thanks
being
to
here.
you.
And she's talking about urban graffiti and the alternative narratives in Rome. Please, the floor is yours.
Thanks a lot, and thanks for inviting me to this beautiful event. One moment, I'm going to share the... So I hope you can see my screen both online and
Yes.
okay, thanks, Pedro. Yes.
We can see it in Lisbon, and also we can see your small one, Phillip. Very beautiful.
Okay, perfect. Thanks a lot. So I can start.
I have a little assistant here now, so yeah. We have to pull
Beautiful.
ourselves together.
Okay, I hope I will interact a bit. So today, I want to talk about something that, so when we generally think of Rome, what comes to mind are ancient monuments, archaeological sites, ruins that tell the story of the ancient Roman Empire. But today I want really to draw our attention on to a lesser known but a very and equally compelling aspect of the city, that its vibrant street art scene. So despite the incredible number of graffiti and murals that are all around Rome, very few residents recognize or engage with them. These artworks generally blend into the background, unnoticed, dismissed as a mere decoration of the street. So in 2015, after some major interventions by some of the most prominent street artists, an app was launched called Street Art Roma or Rome, mapping all the graffiti and murals present across the city. It was a tool designed to guide users through this unconventional museum. And for example, we can see here this poster saying, "Change perspective, the street is your new museum." This app was discontinued in 2017, and of course, the short life span tells us something important, that the city still lacks a widespread collective awareness of the cultural value of these works. On the right, you can see a map with all the neighborhoods in Rome, where in all the streets where there are very important graffiti and murals by prominent artists. So I had to make a strong selection, and in 20 minutes it's hard to do it, but I will try. So I chose this iconic work of street art in Rome, and this was created in the autumn of 2014 by an artist called Blue, written B-L-U. He is known for his large-scale, politically charged works and his strong stance against the commercialization of art. He remains anonymous, independent, and outside of institutional frameworks. This work was created with the collaboration of the citywide housing struggle coordination group that has occupied this Air Force, this former Air Force barracks since 2003. And the building was, because now unfortunately has undergone restoration, and I will speak about that later too. So the building is full of these blue, yellow, green, red colors. These are the colors that Blue uses a lot in his artworks. And with all these spaces that are a sort of guardians of this building. And on another side of the building, there is a gray ship that is laden with cranes and chaotic towers. And that's, of course, a metaphor for the conflict over housing, pitting developers and institutions against people in search of a home. As I mentioned before, the building nowadays has undergone restoration, and only some fragments of this mural have survived with Blue's agreement, I have to say. So going on a bit, so in this case, Blue has created many, many murals and artworks in the city. This was created in 2018 in a peripheral area of the city known as Casal de Pazzi, far away from the city center. And I really love this work. On the top, you can see the word in Italian that it's capita, meaning it happens, or that's life. And this is a biting critique of contemporary society. There are these water park style slides, and you can see that these slides carry a stream of human figures down to two very different destinations. On the left, there is a pool that is overcrowded with people struggling, drowning, and trying to escape, blocked by police forces. While on the right, you can see this golden slide that leads to a luxurious pool where members of the clergy, financial elite, politicians relax undisturbed. And of course, only the golden slide remains bright, not the others. And of course, symbolizing privilege and corruption that has affected a lot, especially the peripheral areas of the city, like, for example, this one called Casal de Pazzi. This is another work by Blue. Here I put a map just showing that the Colosseum is here and Casal de Pazzi is over there, so it's far away from the city center. And this is a spiral and reflecting a bleak vision of a toxic, dehumanizing form of progress that consumes nature and culture. And you can see that it starts from unicellular organisms to dinosaurs, mammals, to modern civilization, which is at the top, and leading to self-destruction. So always this color is progressively being like less colored, just going up. And this is another powerful message that even Blue wants to convey and to propose to the inhabitants of the neighborhood. I move on quite quickly. This is another mural that is in an area of Rome called Quadraro. And this area is known for a very important event. There was a roundup on April 17, 1944, where the SS commander Herbert Kepler carried out the so-called Operation Whale, blocking access to this district and conducting house-to-house searches in pursuit of partisans. And nearly 1,000 residents were arrested in 1944 and deported in an attempt to destroy what had been called the wasp's net. That's why Luca Maleonte, this artist, created this mural in this space. And the intention of the mural was to engage with the history and people of the neighborhood, hoping to redeem the area and spark urban regeneration through art. This artist, I will show even another work by Luca Maleonte. He is recognized nationally, internationally, and has developed this very, very personal style. And I wanted to show, sorry, that on the right, there is the formula of resistance that is a sort of metaphor for the heroic oppositions that affected the citizens against the Nazi fascist violence in 1944. And the symbol of the artist is an icosahedron. So it's a classical solid symbolizing, of course, multiplicity and perfection. This work, it's very, very close to my home. So I'm really linked to that work. Is in the district of San Lorenzo in Rome. That is a district that was bombed during World War II. And this is a sort of conceptual map of the neighborhood where you can see on the left there is a Gridion, which is the symbol of the martyrdom of Saint Lawrence. There is a capital of the ancient Roman basilica that it's called Saint Lawrence nearby. There is a raven and chrysanthemums connected to the nearby Verano cemetery. And on the right hand, we can see a woodpecker. That's the Piceni population, because this work is in a street called Piceni Street. Then there are two red poppies evoking the district anti-fascist resistance, and the laurel and snake of Minerva, of the goddess, that symbolize the strong academic identity of the district, since it is very, very close to La Sapienza University in Rome, which is one of the main universities, of course, in Italy. I go on to another neighborhood that it's called Tor Marancia in Rome. It was a working class neighborhood, historically known as Shanghai. It was called Shanghai due to its chaotic and crowded conditions. Over time, the area has transformed into one of the city's most important centers for street art. And one of the most striking murals is, of course, this one created by the artist Diamond. He is a Roman street artist, and the real name is Stefano Biagiotti. He is active since the early 1990s, and he is considered one of the pioneers of Italian street art. He takes inspiration from Mucha, of course, but even from elements of course, Art Nouveau, Japanese prints, tattoo art, and underground comics. And this mural is called Hic sunt Adamantes, and shows this sleeping woman surrounded by a rich pattern of flowers, animals, vines. She's holding a diamond in her, so he he creates this combination of his name with symbols and so on. And it's a metaphor for Rome, symbolizes Rome, that it's a sort of beautiful city that appears to be asleep, reluctant to wake up. So I go on. These are other murals in Tormarancia. I have to, unfortunately, go a little bit faster. So this is another important project that has spread around the city. It's called cabin art, and decommissioned booths, once used by the municipal police, were turned into urban art installations. And I wanted to focus on one of them in particular, this one, that it's called The Sound of Rome, realized by the artist Crudi, Lorenzo Crudi. And in this case, you can see this warm, cool tones. And Crudi, the artist, wanted to preserve these green patterns that are part of the booth itself. So just symbolizing the fact that Rome is an eternal city, full of layers, and we can always see its ancient past, even through contemporary art. This is another artwork called Rebirth, but now I have to go on. So this work, it's very important. I had to show it here. It is called Hunting Pollution. And this mural portrays a tricolored heron. This part of the endangered species nowadays, unfortunately. And on the one hand, the bird, it's like holds a prey here. And on the other, the mural actively combats pollution. Even because it was realized with specific colors that hunt pollution. And it was realized by an artist from Milan called Federico Massa. Just going on, I want to even show that. Sorry for your paid art, this is writer's space. So in Rome, there are all these great and huge artworks that were most of all commissioned by, of course, so as public artworks, but of course there are so many even illegal graffiti. And as I said at the beginning, not always residents are so happy to see these huge artworks. There is a sense of, I don't know, still has awareness has still to be built according to this kind of art. So the last work I want to show is this one, that it's called Triumphs and Laments. It's a work by the Brazilian artist William Kentridge. And I want to close my presentation with that because even the title, it's very important, Triumphs and Laments. It's a work that shows the history of Rome and the complex narratives of triumph and loss that it's embedded in Rome's past. And this work, it's a living dialogue with the urban environment, since it was created on travertine stone, and it was created in 2016, and so now 10 years, after 10 years, it's not so visible anymore. So I want to end my presentation just saying, so what's the way to preserve even the memory of these artworks? Because their nature, most of the times, is ephemeral and not so doesn't it's ephemeral itself, and Kentridge really created this artwork just knowing that one day it will disappear. So I think I I used all the minutes.
Excellent. Thank you so much.
Thanks to you.
That was a great overview of a very fast-moving and inspiring landscape. We will come back with questions in 20 minutes. Thank you so much for your presentation.
Really hard.
Yeah, it's hard, but that's life.
That's life.
And thank you very much. If you don't mind, we will go to the next presentation because I actually have a flight to catch at a 2:15 or something, or 2:20. I have to leave for my flight. That's why we're a bit in a time in a limited time frame. So we will next start with Pedro Andrade's contribution. He holds a PhD in sociology, and he's from the University of Minho in Portugal, and his research focuses on cultural heritage, urban cultures, and cultural tourism, with a special focus on cyberculture. I hope I got that all correctly. Thanks so much for coming here, Pedro, and please, the floor is yours. Sorry, I've been a little bit too fast, maybe, yeah.
Okay, good morning, everybody. First of all, I'd like to thank for having me in this event, and I'm grateful as well for the awesome organization of this Congress. Well, my name is Pedro Andrade. I'm a sociologist, but first I did a course of architecture, painting and sculpture. Now I'm doing a sociology of urban spaces and arts and cultural heritage. And my presentation for today has this title: Pedagogical, Social and Ethical Storytelling Modes of Intervention and Participation Within City, Space and Times. And the case study that I'm going to present is a geo-novel for augmenting urban heritage literacy. I'm working now in, I was professor in the University of Coimbra, Lisbon, and researcher in Braga, and now I'm at the University of Porto. And we have been working in some topics, but we published some books as well on public art and citizenship. This was a book, sorry about the publicity, but it was sold out and we have to make another. This was from 2010, and we did a second edition in 2020. And here at Braga, we did a special issue of this journal, which is about public art for tourism communication. And this is an objective that we are trying to go on, this target of creative tourism. And it's in this direction that I'm going to present and direct my topic today. So we have here the objectives, the purposes, and I'd like to begin by articulation to territories: the social, cultural territory, and digital technologies, spaces and times. And this space and time is two dimensions very important of the urban everyday. And so my case study it's about this pedagogical, social, and ethical storytelling as modes of intervention and participation in the city. By doing so, I'm trying to connect, hybridize as well material heritage, monuments, statues, etc. And on the other side, this immaterial heritage that is very important, the social symbols and customs that are the very soul of a country or a community. And I'm trying to do this by using a literacy work progress. What's the meaning of literacy? Literacy is an informal way of teaching and learning by means of writing and reading a given mode of knowledge. For instance, science can be written and read via or through a scientific literacy. Technology can be as well taken as a literacy if we know how to write and read technological assets or objects or whatever. So I'm trying here to hybridize, to fusion two essential kinds of literacy, this urban heritage literacy and artistic literary literacy, because what I'm going to present to you is a geo-novel, a novel made on and inside the city by using GPS system, geolocated information systems, okay? So here we have the methods. The methods, like I already in some way presented, is a case study on using a urban geo-novel. I did this, I'm going to make some details on that, but I did that on 2009, 1 year after the iPhone appeared. And I use this iPhone because it has integrated GPS system, okay? So what I try here to do is using this geo-novel, so a literary way of expressing about this urban life and as well the underlying ethical dimension that we must have in, I think, in all our artistic works. And as I said, I used a mobile iPhone that I'm going to detail briefly. So the results was in some kind a sort of different novel, a novel that is aware of the social and technological transformations of the last years. And of course, we all know this classification of Web 1, Web 2, Web 3, etc. Web 2 is a movement that began in 2001, after the last decade where there was the Web 1. Web 1 is the internet that is done specifically for reading. There isn't a autonomous writer except the programmer. Web 2 is another kind of web. Rebecca Blood is an American that wrote how to wrote a book how to make blogs, and that emerged on 2001 after the attack to the Twin Towers in New York, because the American people it wasn't very much politicized, and this Rebecca Blood and others become with writing blogs. and even before Facebook and so. And they inaugurate this Web 2. Web 2 is a reading, writing internet. It's an internet where everyone can write his posts and his ways of expressing himself. But as you maybe know, there's a three kind of web, which is Web 3, which is a semantic web, which begin, for instance, with the Wikipedia. And so it's not just giving information, but as well disseminating knowledge. Knowledge is information explained, okay? So, but we must be aware of the dangers of Web 2 and Web 3. We talk a lot about big data, which is an excess of information that we can process. But I myself try to understand the Web 3, and in a paper that I did some years ago, I tried to define some kind of big knowledge, which is the danger that too much knowledge that we absorb can do to us. Okay, but this is not the main topic of today. What I'd like to show you as well before presenting this geo novel is the impact that this novel can do to stakeholders, to people, to social agents. And this novel, it's a novel, it's a kind of writing that uses the concept of the deixis. Deixis is a concept from the Greek philosophy, which means the connection between space, time, and logos. Logos is the language of the reason, or the reason of language. It's in a way the thinking of social actors. So I try to connect these three dimensions: the social life, the spatial life of the city, the temporal part of the city, and the connection that we can do between these two dimensions by applying these logos. There is a very important author, Mikhail Bakhtin, that maybe you know, that forged this concept of chronotope to analyze novels, which means precisely the connection between chronos, time, and logos, which is a kind of lived space, okay? So this is my novel that I did in 2009. I did that with the softwares of GIS, Geographic Information System, and now I'm doing another, I'm trying to program a new version using AI, augmented reality, and so on. And one thing that I call hybrid reality, which connects all the other realities. So here, what we have here, first of all, we have here a screen where we have somewhat of a plot that in Portuguese, enredo, which means the content of this novel. And this novel begins with a dramatic event, which is the death of the author. The author, well, being me, but as well everybody that is living in the city, but as the seminal author, which is the first author of this novel, I was killed when I was in the south of Portugal doing holidays. There was a guy that was doing a mimo, I don't, you know, some gestures, and he saw a pistol on me, and I said, okay, it was a fake pistol, but I felt that as some kind of the death of me as author, because I was photographing him. So I took this as a beginning of a novel, and the novel is the plot of the novel is a process of searching another authors that are not me. It's a way of communicating my condition of author with readers that can become as well authors. So this is a dialectics between author, reader, okay?
Hollenbach talk about that, the reader as co-author, but we're not going to perform these reflections. What I'd like to just to tell you is that these new authors can be any ordinary person, can be animals, can be objects, can be places. What I should call hybrid characters in the novel. You can see there, that's you with my wife, and we were in 2009 at 3 places in Portugal. And here, in the software, I try to construct this kind of interface, which has on the left and on the top the time where when I took this photo, because the iPhone makes that automatically, and then it converts that in spatial dimensions, which are the latitude and longitude. So on the column on the left, you have on the top the temporal dimension. Afterwards, you have the spatial dimension, and on the third row, if you can, then on the third space, you have all the content, all the, for instance, who is the hero, some keywords about the content that is explained or is occurring in that specific photo. As you see, it's that one is the, sorry, it's the one that you see on the left, and afterwards you have on the central column of this novel all the photos that from 1 to frame 25. Okay, I'm going to present you 3 screens that have all the novel. So this is only the first part. And afterwards, you have, when I click on a photo there, you can, the software takes me on a map automatically. And there you can see that that photo was taken in the south of Portugal, okay, which is depicted, shown there. So we talked about hybrid characters, which are these ones. I try to use different kinds of fictional characters, you know, from the Greek tragedy that we have the protagonists and the antagonists in Iliad, or Odyssey, and so on. Afterwards, for instance, this 19th century Dostoevsky talks about the anti-heroes in some way. And we have Algeria Grimas, which is a semiotician from France, that talks about the mentors, the destiny givers, protagonists and antagonists, and the adjuvants, which are people that help. Ajudantes in Portuguese. Adjuvantes means, adjuvant in French means the characters that help, for instance, the hero or the antagonist. And afterwards, I try to produce other kinds of heroes that connect these precedent types of heroes. For instance, common heroes, the assistants of common heroes, the alter heroes, the assistants of the alter heroes, the assistant heroes, etc., etc. The author readers, the readers authors. We can mix all these, fusion all these, a sort of fusional novel that shows that everybody can be a co-author under some conditions, of course. You have there in the, for instance, Fernando Pessoa, which has the, as we know, the heteronyms, and I try that was in Lisbon. Nowadays is it's erased, but this was an image of Fernando Pessoa, and I try to connect Fernando Pessoa with all the heteronyms. Heteronyms is another writer that writes in a different style. And each one of the common co-authors, people, ordinary people, can have his own style based in his own human experience of life. Okay. So here we have the third and the last slide of the interface now. And here, by summarizing all these, I think it's important to be aware of these different connections of everyday life. I taught, I was teaching a class about sociology of everyday life, and this is the everyday life. It's a theme, a subject, a topic that we can connect with public art, be it street art or graffiti or stencils or etc. So I'm talking here, I'm citing Mikhail Bakhtin and others. And for finishing, I'll try just to talk to you about some of these authors. For instance, I myself tried to do what I call the sociological research game. It's a game that I programmed and which it's not edutainment. It's not a software that educates people or teaches something. It's a software from which we can do research. This is a research game. And I try to propose, to suggest a new kind of economy, if I may say so, a kind of economic activity, which is the researchtainment, which is entertainment by research. That is, in other words, we can program apps that do, allow a user to make research by gaming. And the other titles that I'm showing here, it's some works that I did about the city, about some sociological aspects of the city. And another about austerity by sociological comics. I try to define comics, another style of doing comics, which are sociological comics, which basically try to do some research inside the comics. For instance, you can have a question, an hypothesis, use some techniques, and do some field work within a comics. And I put some photos, some drawings of mine, and try to connect all these in a comic style. So, and afterwards, that one about public art, that ones that I show. And to finish, I'd like to drive your attention to this work of that I cited before, Mikhail Bakhtin. And this one is held by Bitly, which is the ethics of cities. And finally, the semiotics of time and space in the internet by this author, Basta. And finally, these geospatial technologies and advancing geographic decision-making issues and trends. These are works that connect, that found, if I may say so, an hybridization of knowledges, sociological knowledge, architectural knowledge, artistic knowledge, and so on. And to conclude, I'd like to say that we at Porto, at University of Porto, I'm from Lisbon, but I have very good colleagues in Porto, and we are trying to make some works that we could put inside an hybridology, which is the study of the hybrid, because we are submerged by the hybrids. We have hybrid wars coming from Russia. We have everything now is becoming hybrid. We have the Portugal was a country of migrants. Now it's a country in somewhat tourists. And well, it was not just that. It was, but the thing is, everyone can have different roles in our world, and we must be a little humble in the best way of these words, and try to consider the other before ourselves. Try to hear first of talking. Try to read before write. And that's all that I was going to say. Thank you very much for your attention. Okay.
Thank you very much, Pedro, for this interesting presentation, and which was very enlightening. And I would like to open the floor for questions.
Okay, so if
Yeah.
so if anyone have questions, as Phillip said, I'm just making the configuration here for the. I'll stop sharing, and you are here. So if anyone has any question, yes. I don't know. I will take you the microphone.
Os outros também não vêm.
Just for.
Pedro, não vem para a mesa.
Maybe this research events and two things and she's been studying the coordination and relationship with trees to think better words. Probably you can find this situation done this growth with the vowels. This is in one same tree for the look about that plants. This is just a nice suggestion.
There's Yoon. I don't know if you heard the. It was it was it was not a question. It was a suggestion of an author for you to look about. Maybe you can repeat the author was. No, I think it's better for you to come here. Yes.
Sorry, because I didn't hear very clearly. So can you repeat? Thank you.
I think for the ones joining remotely, we hardly can understand what's said in.
Okay. Ooh.
Because maybe the sound is far away from the computer.
Yes,
so
it is.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
I've sent it through the chat, the reference, maybe for your future reading, or to see, because it's similar. It looks similar, or it looks in the same track of research.
Oh, thank you. Now
Okay. Sorry. I don't know if I put while. So maybe you, yeah.
Okay, so I have two questions for Diletta. Okay, so one question is, who is behind those mural projects in Rome and the booth projects? If it's like a real estate company, or if it's the city hall, and then if you can share a little bit more about, I think it was Diamond that you mentioned that it was one of the first. So when did he or she started? And those are my questions. Thank you.
Yes, of course. I hope you can hear me well. Okay.
Yes, yes, we can.
Perfect. Yes. So the cabin art project was promoted by the Youth Policies Office of the Roman Council in collaboration with an association that it's called the ZETEMA. I write it here down in the chat. If you go to so on the net you can find, so if you write down cabin art project Rome, you can find even the other cabin arts that unfortunately due to time limit I didn't present today. While Diamond, who is so it's the artist of the work in Tormarancia. So he inaugurated the work. It was, I think, yes, 2016.
Oh, there's a huge confusion there.
I hope I answered.
Yes, yes, yes. Also, yeah. I will share the chat later also because it remains saved on the. Thank you so much, Dileta. I don't know if someone else has any questions for Pedro or for any other of the presenters. It's a question on chat? No. Yeah? Two questions?
There's, yeah, there's.
Okay, so where are they? Sorry. These are questions, not okay. Okay, sorry. So the first presenter, so Yun, I don't know if you can read the chat there. So Anton, it's making a question about how do you notice or have you noticed with yourself gardens association with rural rudiments in the city that can annoy healthy citizens who want special services to take care of the city. I don't know if I understand correctly, but do you want to comment this?
Yes, I understand this question, but I don't know how to say because I think like plants or hearted plants are the part of the city. It's very useful for our health, healthy or anything else, and it's also for beauty for. So I don't know if the plants can annoy the.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, Vera, go play well. So the second the second question goes for you, Dileta.
I saw it. So about Bloom, so removed many of his work. Does he keep doing murals? Yes, of course. He keeps doing murals, even though he's always very autonomous and tries to find like environments where he can collaborate with communities that are really bound to the inhabitants of a specific neighborhood, like I have shown for Casal de Pazzi in Rome. So about the second, concerning the second question where you ask it served for resistance against commercialization or of street art other than removing works. For example, he always refuses to exhibit in galleries, museums, and he uses his own website to publish his murals. So, but unfortunately, despite that, I mean, the murals that he creates are on the net, and even the city council in Rome archived, and now these works are in any case part of public institution networks, in any case, even because they are too big, too important for the city, I think.
Yeah. Okay, thank you, Diletta. Great, that's great.
You're welcome.
That's great reply. Pedro, I think the last one is for you. I don't know if you want to comment the idea of research-based games, and you explain a bit what you wrote about that.
Yes.
You can, yeah.
Okay, no, okay. So, thank you for the question. The thing is, I wrote some papers on that, but and I did some software as well using this kind of idea. The idea is, as we know, first of all, we must see two things. First, what is a research? And secondly, how can we explain this research on a game, which has a very different way of communicating meaning and practices, forms of action, etc. So, in a research, we have at least 4 stages. We have a theoretical stage. Afterwards, we have where we do some questions and the theoretical hypotheses. Secondly, we have the analytical level, where we translate these questions and hypotheses to a language that is understood by everybody. For instance, I can say, like Bourdieu, I can put in an interview, how do you think about the habitus? Nobody understands. But if we say that, if you go to a museum, what are your feelings? What are your judgments, your opinions, and how do you act facing a painting? This is something that you can understand. So we, in the second stage, analytical one, we can make questions that are and receive answers that are understandable by everybody. And thirdly, we have this empirical field, which is where we make interviews, make surveys, etc. So this is a typical research. Of course, we can see that this is too rational. We can have some approaches to reality by doing research, for instance, using art. Okay, so we have these two kinds of doing research. But second problem, how can we translate this in a language that is gamified, that has a gamification process? So a game has different stages that are a little different than a research, social and human sciences research, or even an artistic research. So we have to translate these stages from the research until the game stages. I'm not going to explain every stage of the game process. There are a lot of stages, but let's consider only these. We made a planification of the game. Okay, we try to translate this in a visual language. Afterwards, we can think of the interface, and afterwards we have to test the game. Okay, these are 4 stages. So I try to to connect these different stages. It's a very long process. I can't explain this all, but the essence is there. We must, in a research game, we must try to make the user comfortable. For instance, if you present a concept, an abstract concept, we must to explain it in simple words. And so we can use, for instance, in the game, a link that gives us the connection to the explanation or definition of the concept. For instance, I used some videos to try to show to a user how to do direct observation, which is a technique that is used by sociologists, anthropologists, and so on. We observe a reality, a village, a quarter in the city, etc. And we can do this now very simply with a video, with a iPhone or another smartphone. So in an interview, I can put this, distinguish the ways, the questions and answers in a way that it can be easily answered by the user. And I could go on, but just I was trying just to give you the main parts, translating one language, then into another language. Okay.
I thought that one that made the question. He also took some screen print. Phillip,
guys,
so
I really have to run. I'm so sorry. Our flight is leaving, and
okay.
It was a real pleasure to have you all, and thank you so much for the presentation. And I'm looking forward to receiving your journal contributions soon. Okay. This was really a nice exchange, and I leave the discussion to you.
Have a good travel. Safe travel.
Thank
for
you. Bye.
Stay
Bye.
well.
Bye. Thank you. Bye.
Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye. So we are closing this morning panel. I think no one else is any question. So. You have this question, yeah.
Yeah.
What's your main source for the gamification?
Like, sorry, I didn't understand. What is the main source?
Source, like the reference.
Yeah. Oh, well, the thing is,
one book that's.
yeah. No, there's a lot of authors giving some in the presentation, and there is a feminist that is doing the critical. I can't remember the name now. I can pass you if you want. But he is talking about the critical gaming. What is that? Is making games by criticizing society and the issues. For instance, war. For instance, the way as minorities, urban minorities work and resist to someone that is dominating them, and some questions like that. I'm thinking that, yeah. But I can give you now.
We'll be on the journal also.
Okay,
so I think we are done here. This is a big lunch break. At 3 we are back here with the rest of the program, and thank you for everything. There's a canteen downstairs. It's like a school canteen, but of course it's a big break. You can go around on this beautiful side, and I think we're okay, right? If you need something, just. We are back at 3. I will close the room, so if you want to leave some very valuable items inside the room, you can leave. Yeah, you're done. Take blue. So thank you for the online.
Thanks to you. For all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. We update later for.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks a lot for inviting. Thanks.
Thank you. Bye, Anton. Bye.